Hello Indianapolis Motor Speedway fans, Doug Boles here with you behind Turn 2 for another episode of Behind the Bricks. Today we're going to get an opportunity to walk through the VIP suite building here at Turn 2. This was really the first VIP suite opportunity built at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It was constructed in 1973 as a two-story building, and then we added the third floor later. But it was ready for the 1973 season, and if you watch the races on TV, you'll see this all the time as the cars roll through Turn 2. This houses 26 suites. There are 12 on the first floor, 8 on the second floor, and then 6 on the top floor. They get larger as you go up. The view also gets better as you go up. On the very, very bottom floor, with no view of the racetrack, are some hotel rooms that aren't really a hotel because we're not in the hotel business, but a lot of our celebrities will stay there, and occasionally some of us that work at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway stay there. We're going to show you one of those as well so you can get an idea of what this really looked like almost back in 1973 when they were built. Fantastic building, and has become one of those things that you know when you see it on TV, the cars are in Turn 2 because they're passing right in front of this. So let's go inside and take a look at these VIP suites. So we talked about those 26 suites that are in this building when we were talking about the Turn 2 suites, but what a lot of people don't know is the very first floor is actually hotel rooms. So these have been used for a lot of our guests. Jim Neighbors would stay here, other folks would stay here when they're at the Speedway. We even have some of our staff that will stay here occasionally. I've stayed here a couple of nights before the Indianapolis 500. Really is a place for my family to sleep, since I try not to sleep the night before the 500. But if you're my age, if you're in your 50s, this room is going to look an awful lot like what you remember as a kid going on vacation with your parents on the way to Florida and stopping at one of those roadside motels. Still feels like back from the 1970s or so. But we're going to walk on in here to give you an idea what it looks like. So this is one of the hotel rooms. Again, we don't use them as hotels. We use them as places for guests to stay if we need a place. It keeps you from having to avoid the traffic. But look at this. The beds don't have those little vibrating things that beds had when we were growing up.
I think there's something wrong here.
It's the bed. It'll slow up in a second.
But that would have been really cool. But even in here, you got your traditional telephone, so you can call security. If you're here and track is going on, you can turn on the closed circuit TV speaker so you can hear all the PA. You can keep up with what's going on in the racetrack. Bathroom, little sitting room over here for you to get your work done. Wi-Fi capable now, might not have been back in the day, but this gives you an idea of what's on the very, very first floor of the Turn 2 suites before we go up to the first floor of suite level. Again, these suites were built in 1973. One of my favorite moments was before I ever came to the 500, but was certainly a 500 fan, was a 1975 race, and the Eldon Rasmussen and Tom Sneva crashed. And if you look at those photos, in the background of those photos is the Turn 2 suites and people standing on the balcony as Tom Sneva is sort of rolling and on fire. Fortunately, he was okay and came on later to sit on the pole, be our first 200-mile-an-hour lap person, and win the Indianapolis 500. But that happened right out in front of these suites in 1975. So we're now on the top floor of the VIP suites here in Turn 2. We've got 6 suites up here. They're the largest suites we have in Turn 2 and actually provide some of the best views. The only disadvantage to being over here if you're a customer is you don't have easy access to pit lane and the garage area, but you get spectacular views. You get to see the cars as close as anyone would want to see a race car at full speed. So we're going to walk here into this suite here right in the corner. Give you an idea what one of these suites looks like. This suite actually is used by our favorite football team, the NFL Colts. They use this every year here for the Indianapolis 500. We'll walk on out on the balcony so you can see what it looks like. But this is one of the best views in the house, as I said, and you'll see why as we walk out here. It's pretty spectacular. You basically see the entry to Turn 1 all the way through the south end of the racetrack and then all the way back up into the entry of Turn 3. So spectacular view. You got the big board right across the way so you can keep track of the action that takes place here from the road course side. You get to see turns 10, 11, and a little bit of the infield, turn 13, 14, and again you've got that video board to keep up with all the action. But these are some of the coolest places at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This thing being here for almost 50 years now provides that amazing view where you're actually right over the top of the race cars watching them come through the apex of Turn 2 and go down the backstretch right up next to the wall. So these are pretty spectacular opportunities to watch the race. You ever get an opportunity, somebody invites you to come hang out, even for a practice day in the VIP Turn suites, don't pass it up. It is one of those experiences that you will never forget here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Well, race fans, there you have it. A lot of great premium spaces here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but nothing like the building I'm standing on top of right now, the VIP Turn 2 suites. Great way to see the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And what I love about it, it's 50 years old almost, so it is part of the history that makes coming to the Indianapolis 500 and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway so special. And can you beat this view of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? Until next time, I'm Doug Boles here on Behind the Bricks.